Imagine this. You're a college runner who's just okay. Not great, not terrible, just average. You love running, but you're never going to be a professional athlete. So you graduate and you're supposed to get a normal job, live a normal life. But you have this crazy idea. What if you could import cheap, high-quality running shoes from Japan and sell them in America? You borrow $50 from your dad. You travel to Japan and convince a shoe company to work with you. And you start selling shoes out of the trunk of your car at track meets. Fast forward 50 years. Your company is worth over $150 billion. Your logo, a simple swoosh, is one of the most recognized symbols on Earth. Athletes around the world wear your products. You've changed sports, fashion, and culture forever. His name is Phil Knight. And before he built Nike into a global empire, he was just a guy with a borrowed $50 and a dream, selling shoes from his car. Today, Lily and I are diving into Phil Knight's story, how passion, persistence, and a willingness to just keep running turned a small startup into one of the most iconic brands in the world. And we're brainstorming a business idea inspired by his journey that you can start today. This is Tallie Talks. Let's get this started.
She's got a mind, she's got a spark, lighting up dreams from dawn to dark. Tallie Talks, yeah, she's the voice, asking the questions, making the choice. Young hustlers rising, stories to tell, big ideas where passions dwell. Pull up a chair, grab your seat, let's talk the hustle, let's feel the beat. Tallie Talks, yeah, Tallie Talks, turning whispers into walks, dreaming big, take the shot, this is the place where dreams get called. Tallie Talks, oh, Tallie Talks, Tallie Talks, ooh, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Season 2 of Tallie Talks. I'm Tallie Pennyworth, and we are 13 episodes into this amazing season.
Last week, we talked about Madam C.J. Walker, the first female self-made millionaire in America who built a hair care empire and lifted thousands of Black women out of poverty.
And we learned that your circumstances don't define your destiny, and that lifting others while you rise multiplies your impact. So Lily, welcome back.
Thanks, Tallie. I'm really excited about today's episode because Phil Knight's story is all about passion and perseverance.
Right? And Nike is everywhere. Like, I'm wearing Nike sneakers right now.
Same. And that swoosh logo is so iconic. But Nike didn't start as this huge company. It started with Phil Knight selling shoes out of his car.
Okay, quick question before we dive in. Are you more of a runner or more of a team sports person?
I like team sports. Soccer, basketball, running is fine, but I like having teammates. What about you?
I'm definitely a runner. I love just putting on my headphones and going. It's like meditation for me.
I love that, and Phil Knight would appreciate that. He was all about the runner's mindset.
Let's talk about how he turned that mindset into Nike.
So Phil Knight was born in 1938 in Portland, Oregon. His dad was a lawyer and publisher. His mom was a homemaker. Phil was a pretty normal kid. He loved sports, especially running.
So he was athletic growing up?
He was, but he wasn't a star athlete. He ran track at the University of Oregon, but he was a middle-distance runner. Decent, but not Olympic level. His coach was a legendary guy named Bill Bowerman, who was obsessed with making better running shoes.
Oh, so that's where Phil got interested in shoes.
Exactly. Bowerman would literally experiment with shoe designs in his garage, trying to make them lighter and faster. Phil absorbed all of that. After college, Phil went to Stanford Business School, and for a class project, he wrote a paper proposing a business idea.
What was the idea?
At the time, in the 1960s, most running shoes were made by German companies like Adidas. They were expensive. Phil's idea was, what if you could import high-quality, low-cost running shoes from Japan and sell them in America? He called the concept Blue Ribbon Sports.
Did anyone think it was a good idea?
His professor gave him a decent grade, but nothing special. Most people thought it was just a class project, but Phil believed in it. After graduating in 1962, he decided to actually try it.
So he went for it.
He did. Phil traveled to Japan and met with a shoe company called Onitsuka Tiger. He pitched them on letting him distribute their shoes in America. And here's the crazy part. He made up a company name on the spot. He said he represented Blue Ribbon Sports.
Wait, the company didn't even exist yet?
Nope, but he was so confident that the Japanese executives believed him and agreed to let him be their American distributor. Phil borrowed $50 from his dad, bought some sample shoes, and started selling them.
Okay, so he has the shoes. How does he sell them?
Literally out of the trunk of his car. Phil would drive to track meets, set up at high schools and colleges, and sell shoes to runners. He'd also work as an accountant during the day to pay his bills because shoe sales were slow.
So he was hustling. Day job plus side business.
Exactly, and he convinced his old coach, Bill Bowerman, to become his partner. Bowerman would design shoe improvements, and Phil would sell them. They officially formed Blue Ribbon Sports in 1964.
So that's when it became a real company.
Yes, and for years, they struggled. Sales were decent, but not amazing. They were constantly running out of money. Phil would order shoes from Japan, but then he'd have to wait months for them to arrive. Then he'd have to sell them before he ran out of cash to pay his bills.
That sounds so stressful.
It was. Phil has said that for the first decade, Blue Ribbon Sports was always on the edge of bankruptcy. But here's the thing. Phil was passionate about running. He believed runners deserved better shoes. That passion kept him going.
So he didn't give up even when it was really hard.
Right. And then, in 1971, something important happened. Phil and Bowerman decided they didn't want to rely on Onitsuka Tiger anymore. They wanted to create their own shoe brand.
So they started designing their own shoes?
Yes. They needed a name and a logo. Phil wanted something short, memorable, and powerful. One of his employees suggested Nike, the Greek goddess of victory.
Oh, that's where the name comes from.
Yep, and they hired a graphic design student named Carolyn Davidson to create a logo. She designed the swoosh for $35.
Wait, the Nike swoosh, one of the most famous logos in the world, cost $35?
At first, yes. Phil later gave Carolyn Nike stock worth millions to thank her, but initially it was just $35. And in 1971, Nike officially launched with their first shoe design.
Okay, so Nike launches in 1971. When does it become successful?
It takes time. At first, Nike shoes were just another brand. But Bowerman kept innovating. He created the waffle sole. He literally poured rubber into his wife's waffle iron to create a shoe sole with better traction.
He used a waffle iron? That's hilarious and genius.
It worked. The waffle sole became Nike's signature. And Phil kept pushing, hiring athletes to endorse Nike shoes, sponsoring teams, getting Nike into stores. But the big breakthrough came in the 1980s.
What happened?
Two things. First, Nike started making shoes for basketball, not just running. And second, they signed a young basketball player named Michael Jordan.
Oh, Air Jordans.
Exactly. In 1984, Nike created the Air Jordan line for Michael Jordan. The NBA actually banned the shoes at first because they didn't meet uniform requirements, but that just made them more popular. Kids everywhere wanted the shoes that were too cool for the NBA.
That's brilliant marketing.
It was. Air Jordans became a cultural phenomenon, and Nike wasn't just selling shoes anymore. They were selling a lifestyle, an attitude, a dream. Their slogan, "Just do it," became one of the most famous taglines ever.
Everyone knows just do it.
Right. And Nike kept signing the biggest athletes: Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, LeBron James, Cristiano Ronaldo. Nike became synonymous with winning, with excellence, with sports itself. Point. Today, Nike is one of the most valuable brands in the world, worth over $150 billion. The swoosh is recognized everywhere. Nike sells billions of dollars of shoes, clothing, and equipment every year.
And Phil Knight?
He stepped down as CEO in 2004, but remained chairman for years. He's now one of the richest people in America, worth tens of billions of dollars. But he's also incredibly philanthropic. He's donated billions to education, especially the University of Oregon.
So he gives back to the place where it all started.
Exactly. And Phil wrote a memoir called Shoe Dog where he talks about the early years, the struggles, the near bankruptcies, the constant stress. It's an incredible book about entrepreneurship.
What do you think made Nike so successful?
I think it's because Phil genuinely cared about athletes and running. He wasn't just trying to make money, he was trying to make better products for people he understood. That authenticity came through in everything Nike did.
So passion and authenticity drove the success.
Absolutely.
Quick reminder, if you're loving these stories about world-changing entrepreneurs, you need to check out Blueprints of Power, the podcast my co-host Lily does with Jack and Charlie. They explore the greatest empires in history with humor and insight. Did you know the Roman Empire lasted over 1,000 years if you count the Eastern Roman Empire? It's wild how long they dominated. The entire first season is on YouTube right now. Go subscribe, watch all the episodes, and let them know Tallie sent you. That's Blueprints of Power on YouTube. You're going to love it. All right, we're back. Lily, what's the big lesson from Phil Knight's story?
The lesson is start with passion, not just profit. Phil wasn't trying to get rich. He was trying to make better running shoes because he loved running. When you care deeply about what you're doing, you'll push through the hard times. Passion is fuel.
So it's like choose something you actually care about, not just something you think will make money.
Exactly. And here's the other lesson. Embrace the struggle. Phil almost went bankrupt multiple times. Nike was on the edge of failure for years, but he kept going. Success isn't a straight line. It's messy and hard and scary. You have to be okay with that.
So persistence through difficulty is part of the journey.
Yes! And one more thing. Just do it. That's not just a slogan, it's a mindset. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Phil borrowed $50 and started selling shoes from his car. It wasn't glamorous, but he started. That's what matters.
I love that. So start with passion, not just profit. Embrace the struggle. It's part of success. And just do it. Stop waiting. Start now.
Perfect.
All right, time for the Kid Business Brainstorm. What business can kids start inspired by Phil Knight?
Okay, so Phil started by identifying something he was passionate about, running and finding a way to serve that community. So what if kids started a passion-based service or product business?
Yes, I love this. So you pick something you're genuinely passionate about and create a business around it.
Exactly. The key is it has to be something you actually care about, not just something you think sounds cool. Phil loved running, so he stuck with it even when it was hard.
Okay, so give me examples.
So let's say you're passionate about soccer. You could start a soccer skills training service where you teach younger kids soccer techniques, drills, and tricks. You charge per session or offer weekly training packages.
Ooh, that's great. Or if you're passionate about art, you could start a custom art commissions business. People hire you to draw their pets, create custom portraits, design logos, or paint murals.
Yes. Or if you love gaming, you could offer gaming coaching, teaching people strategies, helping them level up, or coaching them in specific games like Fortnite or Minecraft.
Or if you're into music, you could start a music lesson business, teaching younger kids how to play an instrument you know. Guitar, piano, drums.
Perfect. Or if you're passionate about fitness, you could create youth workout programs, fun exercise routines for kids, maybe combining games and fitness so it's engaging.
These are all so good. So how would you actually start this?
First, identify what you're truly passionate about, not what your parents want or what sounds impressive. What do you actually love spending time on? What could you talk about for hours?
Then figure out how you can serve others with that passion. Like Phil served runners by providing better shoes. You serve your community by sharing your passion and skills.
Exactly. Then start small, just like Phil selling shoes from his car trunk. Maybe you offer your first 5 sessions for free or at a discount to build experience and get testimonials. Or you create one product and see if people like it before making more.
And you get feedback. Ask people what they liked, what could be better. Use that feedback to improve, just like Bowerman kept improving shoe designs.
Yes, and here's what's important. Be authentic. Nike succeeded because Phil genuinely cared about runners. Your business will succeed if you genuinely care about what you're doing and who you're serving. People can tell when you're authentic.
And you could create a brand. Like Nike has the swoosh and just do it. You could create a logo and a motto that represents your business. Make it memorable.
I love that. And you could partner with someone. Phil partnered with Bowerman. Maybe your friend is great at social media and you're great at the service. Partner up and use each other's strengths.
And what would kids learn from this business?
Turning passion into profit, teaching or coaching skills, brand development, customer service, persistence through challenges, and how to build something from scratch. Plus, you're learning that work doesn't have to feel like work when you love what you do.
That's so true. And you could scale this. Maybe you start teaching soccer to 3 kids. Then it becomes 10 kids. Then you hire other skilled players to help you teach more sessions. Suddenly you have a real business.
Exactly. Phil started with one car trunk full of shoes and built Nike. You start with your passion and one client at a time.
I love it. So the business is passion-based service or product business. Choose something you genuinely love. Figure out how to serve others with it. Start small, get feedback, be authentic, and just do it.
And remember Phil's lesson. The struggle is part of it. You might not have many clients at first. That's okay. Keep going. Passion plus persistence equals success.
Perfect. Okay, who's going to start a passion-based service or product business? Let us know what you're passionate about. All right, everyone, that's episode 13 of season 2. We explored Phil Knight's inspiring journey, from selling shoes out of his car trunk to building Nike into one of the most iconic brands in the world.
Lesson. Start with passion, not just profit. Embrace the struggle. It's part of success. And just do it. Stop waiting. Start now.
And our kid business idea, passion-based service or product business. Turn something you love into a service or product. Start small, be authentic, and persist through challenges.
Next week, we're talking about Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who created Facebook in his college dorm room and built it into one of the most powerful social media platforms in the world. His story about connection, coding, and controversy is fascinating.
I can't wait for that episode. Thanks for being here, Lily.
Thanks, Tallie. Phil Knight's story is so motivating.
And thank you for listening. If you loved this episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Rate us, review us, and send us your business ideas. We love hearing from you.
Because your passion is powerful, just do it.
See you next time on Tallie Talks. Peace out.